going on, guys? Buck Rising out here at the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue for my friends at Two Rivers Ford, the Meet the Bronco event. We are excited to be out here with our friends at Two Rivers Ford and showcase all of these incredible vehicles like the four-door Bronco that I've got behind me. We're going to talk about the NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans selecting 22 overall in the first round 6 days from today. But there's two positions that they simply do not need to worry about. Only two, but two very important positions that we're going to talk about today. Before we get started, go ahead and share this broadcast on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. You can retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen if you view with us on Periscope. You can get the people going that way. If you're on Facebook Live, you can share now to public. It's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And if you're on YouTube and Twitch, all you got to do is let the people know. You can email it. You can text the link to people if you want. Live out here from the Ford Ice Center, courtesy of our friends at Two Rivers Ford. Before we get going, the question that I have for you guys is give me one position that the Titans do not need to draft. I've got two for you, and I'll tell you about those here in just a second. One position that the Titans do not need to draft when the NFL draft gets going from Cleveland coming up here in a couple of days. While you guys do that, I'm going to tell you about what's behind me. It's the four-door Ford Bronco. We've seen the Ford Bronco Sport. We've seen it out at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet with their non-commissioned sales staff that takes care of you so well anytime you go pay them a visit. But this is the first time that I'm actually getting to see the four-door Bronco. And I got to tell you, I've been putting off my 2012 Ford Escape. It's got a little bit of life left in it, but seeing one of these things in person, it's making me want to expedite my need for a new car. Two Rivers Ford is where you can come check out the Ford Broncos. They're Nashville's headquarters of the 2021 Ford Broncos. And not only that, you have the ability to win a Ford Bronco. Two Rivers Ford has teamed up with the St. Jude Dream Home. They're giving away a Ford Bronco Sport that you can see just back there to my left. So when you buy your $100 ticket to the St. Jude Dream Home, you could win a 2021 Ford Bronco Sport or a house valued at $475,000. That's an incredible value. You can purchase tickets in person at Two Rivers Ford or at dreamhome.org. Two Rivers Ford, your Ford Bronco headquarters. So let me know in the comment section. I see a lot of you guys chiming in on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. We're live out here at the Meet the Bronco event, by the way, at the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue. Omar says running back, they don't need it. Jordan says a guard. He likes what they have in Roger Saffold. Better get on your flight, says Robert. I know I was talking on the radio show about making sure that I make it to BNA, but that's okay. We're out here right now at Two Rivers Ford. The Ford Bronco is fire, says Dom Odell. Yeah, it's not just the color. It's an incredible vehicle. You got to come test drive one of these things whenever you get a chance. Punter and running back, according to Josh Brown. Well, you wouldn't be drafting a punter anyway. But the two positions that the Titans don't need are quarterback and running back. We just got finished with Coach Mack of Titans Radio talking about this NFL draft and talking about all the needs that the Tennessee Titans have. Corner, wide receiver, tight end, safety, interior defensive line, edge rushers. They have a lot of different needs coming up in this draft. And so many so that they may consider trading out of the first round with that 22nd overall selection, trying to create more draft capital because of all the needs across the board. But the two things that they do not need are quarterback and running back. It's a fantastic position to be in because you have Ryan Tannehill. You understand that Ryan Tannehill has a history of dealing with some health injuries, but nothing that's so catastrophic. Obviously, he's been ruthlessly efficient since he's been here in Tennessee. You want to think about your backup quarterback, though, understanding that the NFL has expanded to a 17-game regular season. Durability is going to be at a premium. We know that, especially with quarterback play, because, I don't have to tell Titans fans how bad quarterback play can derail you from trying to achieve your goal or as you make the push for the playoffs. And then running back, we're not entirely sure what they have behind Derrick Henry. Didn't see enough from Darrynton Evans last year. Had some good play from Jeremy McNichols, I thought. I think he showed up well when he got the opportunity. But ultimately, running back is not a position of need for this team. The Tennessee Titans have a running back who's a 2,000-yard rusher, he's in the NFL record books. He's only one of 8 people to rush for 2,000 plus yards in the NFL, back-to-back rushing champion. And the best thing about Derrick Henry, it's a little bit like LeBron James. He doesn't get hurt. The durability is unfathomable in a way that he can sustain and has sustained since coming into the league in 2016, has been able to sustain this pace that he's been on. Ronnie Sneed says Tennessee needs as much depth as possible, period. Well, Dom, I don't disagree with you, but those are two positions where you can find depth elsewhere, right? Draft capital for this team, understanding that the salary cap took almost a $16 million haircut due to what COVID-19 has done to the finances of the NFL, without ticket revenue, without concessions, without jersey sales, without you guys being able to attend the games. NFL lost about $16 million per team on the salary cap. So you want to try and regenerate the roster as organically as possible. You do that through the draft. But at positions that you don't necessarily need to spend draft capital on, a lot of teams would consider taking a quarterback every year, 6th or 7th round pick. Those guys barely make the roster anyway, so why not take a chance on a quarterback? In a normal year, this is not a normal year, 182.5. That's the hard salary cap. $182.5 million is all that the Tennessee Titans have now to spend. So you don't want to be expending additional picks, additional finances on players with positions that you have no concerns about right now. And certainly there are no concerns about Ryan Tannehill at quarterback and Derrick Henry at running back. Backup QB could be solid, says D. Owens. Well, we spent a lot of time talking about this on the radio show this week. They like Logan Woodside an awful lot, a lot more than I think you guys like Logan Woodside. Now, you haven't seen Logan Woodside play in an NFL game. I haven't seen Logan Woodside play in an NFL game. The most I've seen him play is during the preseason. He has all kinds of records at Toledo, but Toledo in the MAC, it's a much lower level of football. He has starting quarterback experience from his time in the American Alliance of Football, I believe is what that spring league was called, for however long it lasted. But they seem to trust his knowledge of the system, and the players around him seem to trust his ability to step in for Ryan Tannehill if need be. By the way, for those of you just joining us, we're out here at the Ford Ice Center, the Meet the Bronco event, courtesy of our friends at Two Rivers Ford. Obviously, the fantastic four-door Bronco behind me. To my left, the Ford Bronco Sport. I'm surrounded by them. They're incredible vehicles. You should check them out at Two Rivers Ford whenever you get a chance. I just love that the NFL has a salary cap. It spreads the wealth around. MLB needs one. The Dodgers have way too much money. I mean, yeah, it's a more – nobody does parity better than the NFL. The Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, big money baseball teams in major markets can buy a championship if they want to. In the NFL, it's a much, much stricter system that allows for these teams, outside of the Patriots, who, just kick everybody's butt for the last 20 years, but they've been skirting the system because Tom Brady plays for a hell of a lot less money than most star quarterbacks would. I'd be down with talking about Kellen Mond, but would prefer Kyle Trask. You can do that, but you're talking about guys who are going to go in the 3rd or 4th round realistically. I've seen reports today. I saw something from Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network yesterday talking about the long shot for Kellen Mond to push his way into the 1st round, where we're already talking about 5 first-round quarterbacks. I think that would be a reach by any stretch of the imagination. Kellen Mond at this point is a player who needs more development, and none of these guys come into the NFL as fully developed players, but they do have certain skill sets. Kellen Mond has a skill set that would lend itself to a team like Tennessee that focuses on their running game, that takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback, that creates opportunities with the play-action passing game to maximize the efficiency of the offense. But do you want to spend a 3rd or a 4th round pick on Kellen Mond if you have needs at safety, for example? If you have a corner who's fallen down maybe a little farther on the draft board than you would have expected? Is there a wide receiver in a draft class loaded with wide receivers? Would you be comfortable waiting until the 3rd day before you address that position? You have the ability to do so in this draft, but you do not have the ability to waste draft capital, especially given what happened to John Robinson last year. The Isaiah Wilson situation obviously blew up in everybody's face. That has set them back. So they're not just working against this year's constraints, against this year's salary cap, against all of the things that COVID-19 has done to the NFL. They're working against the idea that they blew their first round pick last year and they're going to have to recoup it otherwise. I'm out here, by the way, at the Ford Ice Center. Two Rivers Ford, kind enough to host me out here at the Ford Meet the Bronco event. I've been telling you guys a while about my friends at Two Rivers Ford. Not just an award-winning sales team, not just an award-winning service staff, not just an award-winning name and brand when it comes to customer service, but incredibly quality vehicles like the 2021 four-door Bronco that you see behind me. You should go check it out when you get a chance. Go pay them a visit in Mount Juliet. It's a real quick trip, just about 7 miles east from the airport, where I need to be here in just a second. Or go through the entire car purchasing process online at tworiversford.com. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy it. We're just that much closer to the NFL draft. You could get a lot closer to one of these Broncos. You go pay my friends at Two Rivers Ford a visit whenever you get a chance.